Agent of Foxglove Ingognito by Lark Sabre. Read by Lark Sabre. Chapter 10. Joey Pumpkins makes some friends. You stay here, lads. I'll teach that fairy fed a lesson. I hate fairies, thundered Hunter, overacting in a bid to buy some time and some gob cred. Hear that, boys? Joey Pumpkins is going to teach that fairy fed a lesson. Go on, then, Joey. Show us what you as big city gobs is made of, cajoled Lefty, his goblin eyes squinting hard, as if his goblin eyelids were compressing his peepers into diamonds of malice. You better believe it, replied Hunter, before bolting ahead of the Godbers straight towards the Roadstall 2000 with its colour-blowing open door. A furtive glance backwards convinced Hunter that he was far enough away from them to chance trying to contact Agent Wildflower. He hoped the goblin's bat ears weren't indicative of super hearing abilities, and that they were too engrossed in egging him on to tune into any clandestine comms. He fumbled in the pocket of his blue camo tracky bottoms and located the invisible walkie-talkie by touch, his fingers sliding down the antenna until he reached the star-shaped body of the receiver. In one smooth, discreet movement, he pulled it out of his pocket and placed the invisible object in his hand next to his mouth, all the while keeping his back to Lefty, John Gobby, and Lucky. Psst, psst, come in, Agent Wildflower, do you copy? He whispered frantically. Roger, Agent Hobby. Why are you running towards the Roadstall? Has your cover been compromised? Over. What? What now? Over? Replied Hunter, unfamiliar with the lingo of undercover agents, what with being a noob spy. Do they know you're not a goblin? No, it's not that, but they know you're not a mushroom, or rather that the car isn't. The door's open, and one of them's seen it. Over. Roger that, Agent Hobby. Good golly. I only opened it because the tip of my wing got caught when it closed suddenly. I thought the Godbers would be too entranced by your Joey Pumpkins theatrics to notice. By the velvety, veiny wings of vivacious King Oberon himself, this is a bit of a hot pickle. Get out of the car now and sneak behind that clump of weeds. I've got a plan, but the Roadstall might take a pranging, Hunter told Agent Wildflower, forgetting all that Roger and over and out rigmarole. At least now he knew why Agent Wildflower yelped when the door spun shut. Hunter subtly pocketed the walkie-talkie and bounded up to the car, screaming what he hoped would qualify as a compelling goblin war cry. The three Godbers were still a few paces behind him. Yag! War cried Hunter. He saw Agent Wildflower sneak out of the other white-wrought door on the passenger side of the Roadstall, the side facing away from Hunter and the goblins. She crawled on her belly to the straggly oasis of weedy cover, low enough to remain unseen, wings folded and held in tight. Prepare to have a carton of whoop bum poured over you, you barrier mooklins, yelled Hunter at the vacated Roadstall 2000, grunting as he just about managed to lift the mushroom car off its wheels and tip it over on its side. He then made a song and dance out of pretending to kick the car, making use of his goblin-sized heft, though he did so as lightly as possible whilst keeping it believable. He trusted Wildflower would be able to magic it upright and undented once the goblins had moved on. Lefty, flanked by John Gobby and Lucky, caught up with Hunter, and they all gathered around him with newfound camaraderie, whooping and cheering at Hunter's make-believe display of fervent fairy-aphobia. Hey, Joey Pumpkins is all right. He nearly totaled that fairy fair wagon. He's a one-gobble wrecking crew, said John Gobby with a sort of joyful sneer. Goblins always sounded like they were sneering, or at least like every emotion was filtered through a standard sneer. Yeah, he's crazy Joey Pumpkins from the big city, said Lucky approvingly, and smirked, revealing modest yet razorous goblin fangs. If Hunter had been closer, he'd have discovered the dung-like delights of goblin breath too. Okay, boys, don't crowd Joey. Where'd that fairy get to, Pumpkins? Asked Lefty in his husky voice, barging past his underlings. Hopscotching hobgoblins. I think she must have flown away. Sorry about that, Mr. Lefty, sir, fibbed Hunter, fibbing for the greater good. Forget about it. They're slippery little Finkerbells, and you don't have to stand on ceremony. You're not talking to the boss of bosses. Not yet, anyways. My rank is Gabbo, which means these two snot shots answer to me. But it's just plain old Lefty to my friends. Lefty Lachino's the name. And you's a friend of mine, ain't you, Joey? Said Lefty with new warmth, yet also with a sense of low-key threat lingering in the background like a bad smell you've gotten used to. Though that might just have been Hunter getting used to the actual ponginess of goblins. Goblin cologne had the not-so-subtle undertones of a compost heap that only a bloodhound could determine where goblin breath left off and goblin cologne began. Lefty put his grubby brown hand with its stabby, overgrown fingernails on Hunter's shoulder. You really do hate fairies, don't you, crazy Joey? Continued Lefty, before chuckling again. Hey, what do you say we go hoot the breeze about some business over a goblet of bog water? Bog water? Levitating leprechauns? I've got to drink bog water to blend in. Agent Wildflower never told me that. I just hope it's bog water from a bog meaning a type of marsh, not bog meaning a toilet. Ugh, I can't believe that's the least worst option. Hunter smiled weakly. That'd be nice, Lefty. Yum. Bog water.